Hey everyone, this is Jonathan with REI Brokers. I'm here today with Mr. Joe Rusaw, a dear friend of mine, where we just completed a refinance on one of his single family rentals here in the Birmingham area. Welcome, Joseph.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jonathan.
It's a pleasure. It's great to be here. Now, I know this is, I believe, our third property that we've refinanced for you. Is that correct?
Fourth.
Fourth. Wow. Okay. Fourth property. Sorry,
Yep.
I stand corrected. And
It's all right.
why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your investing background?
I started investing 5 years ago, single family rentals, um, lower income, but not at the bottom. And, it's gone well. I've done a few seller finance. I've done a few where I've purchased them cash and refinanced them with Jonathan later. And then I do some with private money where I purchase private money, fix them out, rent them out, and then refinance with Jonathan. And the process has worked really well. And
So let's talk about the property. This is a single family rental down in the Hueytown area. Originally, we started this process back in January, and it took much longer than we thought.
it's a two bedroom, 1.5 bath, purchased about a year and a half ago, tenant occupied. The existing landlord had a lease about $300 below market rent. And so I held the property and raised the rent when the lease was up, not quite to market rent, and decided to refinance it then, put in a third bedroom and a second full bath. And then I replaced the roof while I was there and put in a new water tank. And at that point, the property appraised for 130,000 and allowed me to get almost $23,000 cash back.
I understand that when the appraiser got out there, yes, it did appraise below. And let me tell the audience, what really occurred here is that every lender has minimum requirements. And when a property falls below the lender's minimum requirements, they're going to deny the loan. Well, they won't really deny it just yet. They'll ask you to make updates or modifications. So in this case, you did do that. You brought the value from $70,000 to $130,000 on the appraisal from a 21232. Lender came back and said, "Hey, we're fine with this." The appraiser went back out to the property, appraised it, we're good to go. So what everyone needs to understand when you're employing a
Right.
BRRRR model and you're buying, renovating, renting, refinancing, and repeating, going into it before you even put a contract down on that property to use the BRRRR model, make sure you understand your lender's minimum requirements. Otherwise, there could be challenges. Of course, in this case, we've done several others before. We thought it would appraise for 75,000,
Right.
chain, but you had the flexibility to kind of go in and make those updates where others probably would not have done that. So congratulations on
Right.
making
Right.
this happen for you. It's a great property.
Situation where I was kind of hoping is I raised the rent that, they would say, hey, we'll find something else. But because I could have raised the rent even higher than I did and done renovations and got that value even higher. But hey, I like where it turned out, and it's an excellent property.
Right.
That's
What
right.
you did was actually interesting because I did offer some other scenarios in order to lower the rate. And so as a result, you went from a 5-year prepay to a 7-year prepay. And
Hmm.
you also took a buy down. I believe the buy down was
Right.
2 points on this one, and you thought it was
Yeah.
a good thing to do. So why don't you talk a little bit about your thinking behind extending the prepay to 7 years and taking the buy down?
The idea is to not sell those properties. The idea is to hold them forever and let them pay out. So over 30 years. So for me, extending the prepay from 5 years to 7 is not a big deal. And buying down the rate was worth it because I would own it for more than 7 or 8 years.
Joe, what's your estimated net cash flow on this property each month?
Cash flow on this property right now is $238. With that, when the lease expires or renews, I should say, will probably increase another $50 or $60, which will still be about $150 below market rent for the area. So I feel like it's something that the tenant will probably be glad that I didn't jump it up that full $200, and that'll get me a little more cash flow as well.
How do you measure
Yeah.
what dollar amount, what your return on investment will be, that it makes sense for you to keep this property as a long-term rental?
Right. Yeah. I measure mine off cash flow. So I usually try to hit $300 a month cash flow. The reason this one's a little less, the rate jumped up a little bit, but I took out a pretty significant amount of cash, expecting the rates to go higher, that I may not take out of the next property. So I can use that cash now to renovate. And then, of course, I can get back to that 300 number. We're pretty close when the lease renews.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about, some of the benefits of using REI brokers?
Yeah, so it's a situation where I've got Jonathan. Jonathan can go to multiple lenders if he needs to. We usually stick with the same one, but he's always the point of contact. I don't have to call in 800 number, sit on hold. I can text Jonathan, I can call him, send him a quick email, and he's the point there that I wouldn't otherwise have if I went directly to the lender. In addition, Jonathan stays on top of the lender, make sure everything goes smoothly. And he stays there in every step of the process to make sure that everything goes smooth and as quick as possible.
And Joe, much success on your future endeavors, and looking forward to doing more deals with you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jonathan.
If you need funding for your fix and flips, your acquisitions, or refinance of your single family, a rental portfolio, or multifamily portfolios, we'd love to work with you on your next purchase or refi, and we hope to see you next at the closing table.